Hello YouTube, welcome back to another video. Remember on the last one we were fixing Will's car with boost issue? Got that fixed. Now what we're going to do is put a remap on it, so we're going to be doing that myself. But before we get into that, we're going to do a full health check on it, compression test, CO2 test, check the plugs and everything before we turn up the power. So it's going to have a stage 1 remap. Me and Benji are going to be doing it. He's going to be the one pushing all the buttons on the laptop, making sure everything's running fine. So I'm going to get the bonnet open, go through the test, and I'll show you what we're going to be doing. Right, so the first thing we're going to do is a CO2 test, right? We're going to use this, put it in there with some of this fluid, and what will happen then, that fluid will change colour if there's any CO2 or gases within the water system. Now what that can mean is head gasket, crack liners, if the gases are getting into the water system. They just shouldn't, so I'll pick it up. But this is what I've done to this, right? I bought, when you buy it, it comes with a big bung, and that's on top of there. Now if you put that on there as it came originally, the gases will seep straight out of the overflow wall and you could get a false reading. So I've cut it in half, so when that goes in, it seals in the bottom rim. So we'll go right down, and then we know the gases that come out of there have to go through the fluid. So we're going to run the engine now, put some of that fluid in, see it bubbling, and hopefully don't change. I don't expect to have any issues with this engine. This seems solid. Okay, so I just thought I'd show you filling the fluid. So you only want the fluid in this little U-bend at the bottom, so you don't use a lot. You can, whoop, look at that now, put too much in, so I'm going to pour some of that back out. You get the idea. Just in this bottom bend. Now there's loads in here, so you can do loads of CO2 tests. You can check your own engine regularly, and they're not that expensive, to be honest. I think you paid about 17 quid for this one off Amazon. So I'm gonna get a bit of that fluid back out, put it back in our bottle, and then we'll get the engine running. So we go, that's in, push it down, make sure it's sealed. I'll be checking that, and we'll be able to tell if it's sealed because you'll see the air bubbling out through it when we start him up. We haven't long been out in it, so the engine is warm. Make sure that is sealed. You can see it just starting to push some air through it. There you go, see it bubbling? So we'll give it about 5-10 minutes just doing that, and when you see that bubbling, you know that the gases are going through the fluid, and that's the main thing. If you don't get no gas through the fluid, you're not testing properly, so make sure it's sealed tight down in there. Glug glug glug. It's still popping away, still blow. I'm going to give that another couple of minutes just to be 100% sure, but I'm pretty certain that this engine is fine as far as CO2 goes. So just a point of note as well, you can see the engine is at 4 bars, so it's nice and warm because I've just got back from the login session after we fixed the boost solenoid. So make sure there's a bit of temp in the engine, just to make sure your test is accurate. But so far so good. We still blow. We're going to call this test a success. Now I always like to verify the fluid is working as it should, so what I'll do now is I'll stick that in the exhaust pipe and we'll see how the fluid will change colour. Now I always do that just to make sure, because you never know, you could have a bad batch of fluid and it doesn't change colour anyway. Right, so I've just swapped to that bigger half of the bang now, right? And see if we can do this out, spilling it out now and get some exhaust. Spitting the fluid out. You can hear it bubbling away in there. You can see it changing colour now, it's starting to go up. There it goes. There you have it, look. Do add a bit more and that should go even yellower. You can see it yeah. There we are, full yellow fluid. So that's what will happen if you've got any exhaust gases in your coolant. Right, so the CO2 test done, got a compression tester out. Now I'm going to quickly whip off the coil pads, get the plugs out, and while the engine is nice and warm, get a compression test done. There you have it, compression testers in number 1. Let's go and crank them up, see what we get. Right, shouldn't start obviously because there's no plugs in and I've disconnected the fuel pump. That should be enough. Right, so we have got just under 151, 10, 20, 30, about 147, 48. Now the important thing to tell you is my tester always reads low. Cold engines I get about 140 psi on my tester. Now I know a good tester does about 170 to 180, so my brother's engine tested 140 across the board on my tester down in Jordan at H-Boat. He done 170 cold across the board. So what we're going to be looking at for you is consistency across the board, not the actual number. But as long as they're all even, I'll be happy with that. Right, we're in number 2. Let's give that one a go. Right, pretty much bang on. I think we call our 149 maybe. Perfect. Add that to the door. 149 versus 148. I got terrible right then, I know. Right, let's get number 3 and number 4 ready. You know the drill, I'll tell you the numbers once they're done. Right, here we have it. Number 3. What are we going to call that then? That's about 147, 148. We'll call it 147. Actually, on a closer look, probably more like 145, 146 we'll call that one. Still, can't fault that. That's really good. Alright, so there we go. Number 4, I'm going to call that about 146. So 146. That's perfect numbers. So we've got 3 psi between all 3, and by the time we've got to 3 and 4, the engine's getting a bit colder, so hotter engines get more compression, so I'm absolutely over the moon with that. The important thing is, right, with these numbers now, don't go checking your engine on a different tester. If you get like 130s, 140, 150, you could have an issue. Look for consistency. I've used this tester for years on lots of good engines, so I know it just reads low. I should change it really, but when I've had other gauges on that read 170s, 180, the engines that I'm getting these numbers on, so it's all about a base, and I'm pretty happy with that. Alright, so car's all back together. I've got HP tuners, I've got a base map ready to load on. Also, what I'm going to do is connect this to the battery. There's a bit of a jump starter kit, so I got sent this by Top Don to do a video on. I haven't done the video yet, but just thought I'd mention it here actually, so to make sure we don't lose any power in the battery, especially since we've been doing a compression test and been cranking quite a bit. So I'm going to connect this to it, and it's pretty good actually. It's got you connect it up normal and it'll jump start your car if you go battery flat. If the battery's completely dead, there's a boost button on there and it gives about 15-16 volts I think. Yeah, tiny bit of kit. It's got also in here some USB bits and you can charge stuff off it, but yeah, not bad. I'll put a link to that in eBay. Comes with a nice case, so yeah, look in the description. Sorry, I'll put a link to where you can buy it on eBay. And it's not me selling them, someone else is selling them who they said to put a link to. But anyway, let's get back to putting the map on the car. Right, so you're all connected on the battery there. What I like to do, even though it doesn't always need, I give the boost button, then it gives that booster jump for 30 seconds. So you know the battery's on a nice little boost, and then we're ready to flash. So laptop's ready, we plugged in. I've got it loaded up as Williams stage 1. So what we're going to do now is put the ignition on. Turn the fans off. We don't want too much strain in the battery. This will take a few minutes, so we'll connect to the vehicle and then load the map. Right, so here we go. We are now loading on the map. I'm not going to go too close because I don't want to see VIN numbers and things like that, but the map is going on. Right, we are loaded. So ignition off. Gotta wait a few seconds. Ignition back on. Click OK. Close that. And let's fire them up. Nice. Fired up nice and fast with that booster pack on. Fair play. Right, we're gonna get it warm, engine warm, sorry, and I'll take you out and do some data logging. Right, so we're out on the road, let the test drive begin. Now what I'm gonna do is drive steady for a bit now, get it up to temperature, and then just do half pulls, check the logs. I don't want to go straight into smashing it, just make sure everything's fine. I'm also curious to see if a little bit more boost makes that fuel pressure issue raise its ugly head that we suffered in the last video, because that went away when we changed the boost on. Right, it could be because the boost then was lower. I can't fully explain that, but sometimes with cars you have issues with one electronic component and they can trigger issues in other areas. But we'll work through the logs, check the car's running healthy and safe, and go from there. Right, so let's give it a second gear rip. Goes well, goes really well. I've done a couple of pulls, just checking things over before I give it that full little rag then, but it's driving really well. Right, so I've come back home now because we had a nice few pulls, but the fuel pressure issue, like I said, has raised its ugly head again. So we definitely have a fuel pressure issue to fix, but everything else is good. The spark timing, spark advance, sorry, is up perfectly, no dips, so it's not knocking or anything. Boost is good. I'm very happy with it, other than that fuel pressure problem. So what I'm going to do now, I think the easiest thing is, I think I've got another fuel pressure rail sensor. I'll swap that over and see if it's okay. But it's like, if you look at this, like this was third gear into fourth. When you get into fourth, there's no fuel pressure dip there. It's just at the bottom, and it's intermittent. It's not all the time. We had a couple of pulls and it was fine. So it's definitely something we got to fix. So I'm going to look into that. But other than that, the car's driving really good. Right, so to hopefully fix this fuel pressure problem, I'm digging into my stash of parts now. I've got a fuel rail pressure sensor. I'm going to try that first because it's the easiest. I've also got a spare pump. Right, so this is where your fuel rail sensor is. I pulled the plug out. You see the top of the engine, fuel rail comes across there, and the sensor's in there. So it is easy to get at. Whereas the pump is down under there and a little bit more involved. We're going to strip all of this off. So hoping this does it. Right, so I'm back because that didn't work. Still dropping fuel pressure. You can see the green dropping down there. So left to do now is swap the pump, and if it's not the pump, let's just hope it's the pump. It's my last resort. Right, so once you strip your coil packs off and the top cover and the foam underneath, you're then left with this. So unplugged all the lube, so there's the pump. So we go and do this, nut the other side, release all the fuel pressure, disconnect that, two bolts there, and then out it comes. Just got to it, everything's undone, ready to get him out. So there's the old pump. Is there anything wrong with it? I don't know, but we'll swap the other one in, see what happens. Change the pump back in, just in case of getting all the other bits on now, and then we shall take it for a run. Oh boy, this car's absolutely kicked my butt with the mapping and the fuel issue. Right, finally got it solved, and do you know what? The fuel pressure drop issue was the fueling, right? Fueling in the map. Let me explain. I had this issue where no matter what I did uploading maps, I could change everything within the map, but the fueling was like stuck on Revo fueling. Very, very rich from low down. Absolutely ridiculous. Nothing that I did could change that fueling. I would try altering it, re-upload, exactly the same. I'd get super rich from super low down, and the pump couldn't keep up with it, it was so rich. And I tried and tried. It's now the next day. This was last night. I tried until late into the evening, and I'm back out again today, and I finally cured it. I finally managed to sort it out, and it's been an absolute pig. Every other car I've messed with have never had this issue. I spoke to Connor at Devon Autotech. He's been giving me advice. Like, he's never come across the problems that I've been having with this. It's been an absolute pig, real pig, but I finally managed to do it. So I'm absolutely over the moon, because it has been a bit of a nuisance, but we've got there in the end. So what I'll do now is we'll go and give it a little pull. It's getting a bit damp now, but whereas the map before, it was alright, but it wouldn't break traction or nothing in second. But now we'll just spin the wheels up in second. It's really flying now, so I'll give it a little pull, and then later we'll give it back to Will, and we'll try and get his reaction, see what he thinks of it. Right, so yeah, second gear now. The rain has started to fall. It's been dry all morning, but let it bog down to 2000 RPM right now. We're flooring up. Right. Just spinning the wheels. I've had a little bit of traction braking loose in third. But yeah, this is about the limits of like a stage 1 tune, and I've also kept it safe with ignition timing. Knock sensors, as I would have said, I think earlier in the video, factory standard. A lot of people mess with them. I don't like that, and I haven't done it. I've kept them exactly standard and kept the ignition timing safe, so we've not seen any dips or any knock. And the car's going great. At last! This has been a real labour of love, but when you get success, it's one of the best feelings. So I quickly thought I'd show you what I've got in the log, right? So we can see boost is, we see in 1.49, so keeping the boost not too crazy, just under 1.5 bar, sometimes it's in the 1.5s depending on load. Fuel pressure coming up fine, and also the ignition timing, the pink line smoothly climbs all the way with no dips. This is a gear change here as we go into fourth. We're going to see a nice smooth climb, no knock, no nothing. So pretty happy with that. I've done numerous logs and tests. The car's driving absolutely perfect, so Will's going to come here now, take the car away, and hopefully he enjoys it. It's fought me, but
have it? You managed to clear it in the end, did you?
Managed to get it sorted in the end.
I spoke to someone, did you?
No, I sussed it out. It was I had to start with a new base file and overwrite the differences onto that. It's a pig, but tried and tried and tried. I just could not get rid of the Revo fueling. Absolute bitch. I feel better?
Yeah. Just picks up straight away, doesn't it?
Yeah. Like it's not super aggressive. I didn't want to go crazy. But
so what PSI is it to what now?
It does about 1.5 bar.
Is it?
Standard is 1.45. It will creep up a little bit more in the higher gears if the load is higher. In the mid-range. but by 6,500 it's down to about a bar. Give it a second gear blast then, but good there.
Yeah.
It's not low down power.
It's ridiculous.
You'll be going through tyres now, well.
Eggs on the other one. See, nothing will happen till about 4.
Yeah, it was just a
Really?
gradual. Strong now, isn't it?
Yeah. It's annoying to you, I'll have to go really out of my way just to get it every time.
But when I done the base map and all that, I done it on the 97 that was in here, so. August. Rev it right up, Will. Yeah. That was 6.5. We've got up to she's a beast, Will. Right then, people, Will's gone to top up the fuel, and I think he's pretty happy. He's a camera shy boy, so I'm not going to put him on camera no more. So, thank you very much for watching, everybody. Hope you've enjoyed the video. It's been a good one for me. Hope it's been a good one for you. See you on the next one. Cheers, bye.